Hi, welcome to 3D Animation Yajna. I am Autodesk Maya online teacher. Today we will be looking at the fundamentals of Maya software. Okay, let's start. So this is a Maya software. The first line you are seeing is menu bar. There are full of menus. You can see file menu, edit menu, create menu, select menu. Like that, so many menus are there. Under that you will see the status bar. This is called, the second line is called status bar. The status bar contains modules. Several modules are there: modeling, rigging, animation, effects, rendering. Like that, so many departments are there in that. And the next one, if you see, file save, file open, all that are there. And the next is object mode, component mode. We'll go into that later. Next is full of snaps: grid snap, curve snap, vertex snap, and other two more snaps are there. This is called live surface. We'll go into that later. And this is outputs and inputs switching, and these are called rendering. Very important, these things. You have rendering options here, settings here, and shader also here. Here this space is provided for renaming the objects, whatever objects you are going to create, that is like mesh, geometry, and light, camera, curves, like that. Whatever you are going to create, for that you can rename them in group. For that purpose it's given. Then the right side, what you are seeing, it's called channel box. And this, if you switch on, it will show up the attribute editor. You can see here it's named here attribute editor. So this is called viewport. Generally this is the Maya's viewport. That is, you can see the top, front, and side, and perspective. Perspective is 3D view. It is 3D perspective. Other views are 2D perspective, 2D views, 2D viewports we can call. So it has 4 viewports. And now if you want to change these viewports arrangements, you can go here and change. If I want only perspective, you can choose this. If I want 4 viewports, you can choose this one, and 2 viewports. And this one is called outliner. It's a kind of schematic view. That is, what are all the objects, geometries you have in the scene, that is in the software we have loaded, that and all will be shown up here. It's called, we can call it schematic view. And generally I keep it like this. I'll keep open the outliner in the left side. So, and in the middle I'll keep the perspective viewport, and on the right side channel box. I'll tell you what this channel box, attribute editor, all that. And what is seen here is called time slider. That is, for animation we will be using this time slider. I am pressing hold the left mouse button and dragging it, and you can see the frames are moving. 90, 95, 100, like that it is moving. So it is for animation, sliding the time slider and seeing the animation whether it is correct or not, like that. For checking purpose we can use this. Then what you see in the next line, what you are seeing is the range slider. That is, now it is 1 to 200. You can see the last frame is 200. If you want more frames, you have to type in the range slider, like I am typing now 250. I am typing now. You can see in the time slider it has changed to 1 to 250. Now even the beginning frame I can change, like -50 I can change. You can see here -50. So -50 to 250 I can change. You can even decrease it, like 1 to 50, like that. Last frame is 50 and I will put here 1, so that it becomes in the time slider it will show up only 1 to 50 frames. So this is time slider and this is a range slider. And next thing is mel command line. Mel means the full form of mel is Maya embedded language. So whatever commands you know here, you can type here. It's a kind of machine language. They call it syntax, system language. So if you know that, it's based on Python. If you know Python scripts, syntaxes, then you can type here and make use of it. And here it's a helpline. That is, here it will show up what is happening here. Here and here it will show up what is happening here. And this one is for playing back the time slider. Play, rewind, pause, everything is there. And here small set of icons are there. One is auto key and another is audio. You can load actually wave file .wav file in the time slider. It will show up the sound signatures will be shown up here. So to do some animation, to sync the animation what we are doing visually with the audio file, for that purpose we can use this .wav wave file. You can load and make use of it. So for that, it's this speaker icon is given, and this is for play blast. When we are doing some animation, we cannot render it immediately. I will talk about render later. So it's a process to bring the geometry with shaded and textured and lighted in the color form. That's called rendering process. Before that rendering process, you can see a preview. For that preview, you will be using this icon, and this is called auto key. I will explain you later. And one more important thing is settings preferences. If I click that icon, last icon, you will see what is called preferences. In every software you will see this file, save, load, preferences, all these things. Same way here also it is there. So this is preferences. You can see interface, UI elements. UI elements means user interface elements, and the help, display, all that are there. In that, important things are UI elements, settings, and time slider, and undo. These things are very important. I will go later. We'll go deep into that later. So let's close this. And you have something called file set project. That is, we have to create project window. In that you can see current project, that is 3-dimension files. This is already I have created. When you want to create a new database, you have to press new and create. When you are creating, all these folders will automatically be created inside the database, and whatever you are going to do and save, it will go automatically to these folders. So that is how the file structure in Maya is. So when we call in Maya scene file, that is entirely it's called a scene file. So whatever you are creating here, some meshes you will create, light, camera, whatever you are going to create here in the perspective view, you will call it a scene file. Okay, and you will be applying some images to it. That images you call texture, and those textures will be automatically saved in these source images, and ultimately finally when you render it will be saved inside the images. So this is the file structure of the Maya. Okay, now this one, it's called toolbox. This is cursor mode, that is gentle mode, and these two are selection modes, and this is called translation, rotation and scaling. This we are going to look at it. So let's switch on the channel box. I told you, channel box. So this icon, if I click, you will see the channel box. Now nothing is seen here. That is because there are no objects in the scene. I told you we call this as scene. So there are no objects in the scene. So now we are going to create an object and look into that. Go to create polygon primitives, or nerves we will take, sphere. So now you are seeing the geometry. I am using the Alt key in the keyboard and the left mouse button to zoom it and turn it around. We call it orbiting the camera. So what I'm doing is orbiting the camera. I'm turning the camera and seeing the object from all sides. So this is how it looks. An object, if you see, go to nerves primitives, you will see sphere, cube, cylinder, cone, plane, torus, like that. So many primitive shapes are there. They are given the primitive shapes. With that we can make some models. That is, if you want to create a human face model, human body model, or any product model like furnitures or any home appliances, like that. Whatever you want to create, you can create with that basic primitives. So now this is called shade mode. You are seeing the wireframe also. This is called wireframe, or geometry we can call, or mesh you can call. So what I will do now is I will press 4 in the keyboard, and you can see the wireframe mode purely without any shading. Now you can see only the wireframes. You can see that it looks like as if it is made out of curves. So it is really made out of curves and made as a surface. Now this is in object mode. If I select it, you can see it is an object mode. Now if I switch on this, you can see this is in blue color. That is, these set of icons are there. If I switch on this, you will see some changes happening here. You can see some changes has happened. This is called vertex, edges, faces, and hulls. Many things are there. So here in the perspective, you can see the points. They are called vertices. A single vertex is called vertex, and you can move it. How? I told you in the toolbox there are 3 icons. One is translation, rotation and scaling. Translation means simply moving it like this. I have switched on the translation. You can see one icon here. You can just move it. If you hold it in the center of the icon and drag it, it will move the vertex. And if you want to move it in particular direction, you can move it. You can hold the arrow like this and move it up and down, like that you can do. And this is one arrow to move in this direction, and this is another one to move in this direction. So this we call it X, Y and Z. This blue color, it's called Z. This Y color is this green color is Y axis, and this yellow color, it's actually red color because we have selected it. Now you can see it is red color. Actual color is showing up. This is what is red color is called X axis. So, and this is the center of that axis icon, which we can use when we want to move it freely without any direction constraints. If you want to move, you can choose that and move it. So what we are moving is vertex, and I am pressing 5 in the keyboard and trying to move it. You can see the shade is also moving along with it. not just the geometry wireframe is moving, also shading. You can see the surface is getting modified when I move the vertex. So this is the structure of the wireframe model in the Maya. You can, by pressing the left mouse button and holding it, and I will draw the rectangular selection and select all these vertices and move it. Press this and press this translation icon and I can move it. Okay, then if I want to rotate the upper portion, I will select this rotate icon. You will see this icon, it is different from the translation icon. You can see it is circular. So if I want to rotate it, you see, and this is red color, this is green color and blue color. That is RGB, R, G and B, X, Y and Z. Okay, so now I am going to use the x-axis circle to rotate it. You see in which direction it is getting rotated? In this direction. Okay. Now I can say undo, that is by pressing the Ctrl and Z in the keyboard, it will get undone. Now I want to rotate it in the Z direction. So if I do that, see what is happening. And in Y direction, Y means green color circle is Y direction. See, so this is how it is. This is sphere model. There are many such models. You can go to Nerves Primitives, cube is there. It will come in the world center, that is this called world center. I'll delete these geometries and show you. This is called world center. This is main axis line and this center is called world center, where X and Y and Z all starts here and ends here. So it's called 0, 0, 0. X is equal to 0, Y is equal to 0, Z is equal to 0. We call it world center. World center is always 0. Okay. So if I create anything new object, it will come there only. You can see that. Create. You can see it's the geometry center will be in the 0, 0, 0 only. Exact center. This is main axis line, as I told you. This dark black line is called main axis line. Where these main axis lines are intersecting, that's called 0, 0, 0. Okay. Or world center. Now I have taken cube, Nerves primitive cube. Previously we created sphere, now we are seeing cube. You can see the cube is also having vertices. You can see the vertices. If I select all the vertices and use translation icon, it will move up and down. You can move it in the x-axis, you can move it in the z-axis, whichever direction you want you can move it. If you want to rotate it, press this rotation icon in the toolbox and you can rotate it like this. Rotate it in the x-axis and in the y-axis also you can rotate it. And this is wireframe mode. So when I press 4 in the keyboard, it is in wireframe mode. When I press 5 in the keyboard, it goes to shade mode. This is called shade mode. You won't see just wireframes, that is, you won't see just geometry, but it's along with shaded you will be able to see it. Now if I will just rotate it and show you, see how it looks. So if you just sit in Maya and just create this nerves sphere and just translate it, rotate it, and see, you will understand the 3D space of the perspective viewport. This is called perspective viewport, and this is outliner. You can see whatever is there in the perspective, you can see its name here. You can see the list. This is the list of the elements that are present in the Maya scene. Currently whatever is there, it's called scene. So the whatever is present in the Maya scene, you will see its list of objects. So now we shall delete this. I will go to nerves plane. You can see when I take any of these objects, whether it is sphere, cube, or plane, you can see something called translation, rotation, scaling, visibility, and all are appearing here in the channel box. So what it means is, when I move this, this is z-axis, that is, you can see it, z-axis, that is blue color, RGB. B is the last node, like how in X, Y, Z is the last, like that B is. So if I choose this and move it, you can see values are increasing in the translation Z, and I can even select it, like how I am selecting the file name, renaming. When I am want to rename it, how I am selecting it, like that. I can just double click and backspace. You can just type some value 1, like that. It moves to 1. That is 1 Maya unit. It has moved from here to here. Here is 1 Maya unit, or we can call it Maya square unit. Okay. So if I apply the same 1 value in the x-axis, this is x direction. Okay, I'm going to type 1 in the translation x. See what is happening for the for the grid. It moves there. So like that for y also. In translation y, if I apply 1, it goes up. So now if I want to bring it back, you just type 0, 0, 0. Will come back to the world center. Now if I move it freely, holding the center of this icon, see the changes happening in the XYZ in the channel box. You can see values are increasing and decreasing. It's going minus to plus, plus to minus, like that it is going, no? Because I am moving. It is like latitude, longitude measurement. It will show the location of the object, particular object, what you have selected, where it is. It is showing. So now I am going to put zeros in the translation XYZ. Now why we call it nerves, I will tell you why. Go to top view mode. If I press spacebar in the keyboard and hold it, and I can press the left mouse button, and you can see top view, left view, perspective, right, front view, all those views. And a line also comes up with the cursor. You can use it for choosing it. Now I want front view. I'm choosing it. It is going to front view. You can see it's front view. Now again I will press spacebar in the keyboard and press in the middle. You can see all the viewports icons. I will choose perspective view. It is going to perspective view. So this is how we are shifting from one viewport to another. Now I will go to uh, top viewport, go to create. From here only we created nerves, primitive shapes, sphere, cube and all we created. Now let's go to curve tool. There is something called curve, CV curve tool. Inside the settings, this box is called settings. If you want to go to settings of the particular tool, you can click on this box and it will show up the new dialog box. CV curve settings box, 1 degree, 3 degree, 2 degree, all degrees are there. Generally we use 3 cubic degrees. Okay, let's choose it, close it. Now the cursor has changed to plus symbol. Let's click the left mouse button and see what happening. A vertex is being created, and in the outliner you can see an icon saying curve 1, means it's going to create a curve. Further, if I choose to click on the this viewport, it will start creating lines. 2 vertices form a segment. You can see the segment here, and one more segment, and the curve is created. So this is how the curve is created. And once you have done it, you have to press enter in the keyboard. It's filled, it's done. Now if I want to move it, press translation in the toolbox and you can move it like this. And I will show you another thing. Go to Polygon Primitives, and we previously created the cube and sphere and plane from Nerves primitives. Now I am going to show Polygon primitives. Take the cube, now move it here and go to scale. There is something called scale. Sorry, I apologize, I didn't tell you this tool. This scale icon, this is translation, rotation and scaling. You can see the scale icon is all similar to the translation icon, but both are different. Okay, so if you press the scale icon and you will see this icon, go to perspective viewport and you can see this icon. If I press here and drag it, see what is happening. It is stretching the cube in the particular direction. Which direction? You can see in the channel box. In the channel box, scale Z is increasing and decreasing. When I do that, see, you can see the scale Z values are increasing. It was in 1 like this. Now if I press here and hold here and stretch it like this, the values are increasing in the scale Z. So this is scaling, and this direction also you can stretch it and do this direction also you can do it. You have to press, hold it and drag your mouse, then it will happen. Now if I want to make it bigger uniformly, not like this, not like this, not like this, uniformly all the sides simultaneously should become big. How to do that? Just press hold in the middle and drag the mouse, it will scale up, that is, it will become bigger. Or if you want to make it smaller uniformly, you can make it smaller by choosing to press in the middle of the icon. Okay, so remember this is translation icon. To move it simply in one direction or free movement, and this is rotation icon. You can see the circles here. This is x-axis circle, that is red color, y-axis and z-axis, xyz RGB. This you remember, this equation you remember. And next thing is scaling, uniform scaling, one directional scaling, all are there. So now what I'm going to show is, we created this curve, and this cube also we have created. This is Nerves curve, though we created it from this, not here, not from Nerves primitives, we created this Nerves curve. We created this curve from curve tools. Here we created, it's basically Nerves only. So what is the difference between Nerves and Polygon primitives? That I am going to show you. I told you in the beginning, this is object mode, and if I switch on this, it is component mode. This is status bar, you remember, I think. In that status bar you are seeing this object mode, and if I switch on this component mode, you are seeing. So once you switch on the component mode, you select the polygon like this, you will see the vertices, that is components. Vertex, 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 vertex. So what this object is basically made up of, it is made up of vertices. Like how our body is made up of cells, like that this mesh geometry is made up of vertices basically. Okay, when two vertices are there, it becomes a segment, and when there are three vertices, it becomes a face. What I did is, I right clicked on the object, and I'm seeing edge, vertex, face, and object mode. These are also called modes only. This is edge mode, this is vertex mode, this is face mode. Now we'll go to face mode, and I will show you. See, this is called face, this face, this is face. So how many faces are there in the cube? 6 faces are there. Okay, so now I'll go to edge mode, and you can see edges. That is what we call segment. It can be called as edge also. Edge, edge, edge. There are so many edges in the this cube, polygon cube. And another thing is vertex, that we have already discussed it. So 2 vertices make 1 edge, and 3 edges make 1 face. This you have to remember. Okay, now if you want to switch to object mode, this is in component mode. These are components, right? Vertices, edges, and faces are components. Now it is in component mode. Now I want to switch to object mode. Now it's showing up in green color, means whenever I select it, it becomes green. That is the selection color of the Maya. Okay, so I think you remember what I told about translation, rotation, and scaling. This is very important. When you open the Maya and create a sphere or cube or any primitive shape, you will want to move it and see, because it's a 3D space. You will want to move it freely and see, or you may want to move it in particular direction and see. So that you don't forget this translation, rotation, and scaling. These are called types of transformations. Transformation means change, a small change or big change. So when I press this translation icon here in the toolbox and go here, and if I move it, I'm making a change. That is why it's called transformation. One place to another, one level to another is called transformation. So when I select this one, rotation, and do it like this, it rotates. This is also kind of transformation. One level of rotation to another level of rotation. Another is scaling. This is called scaling, from small to big or big to small. This is also kind of change. So, and we created a curve. That difference I will tell you. This is polygon cube and this is nerves. What is this nerves and polygon? What is the difference? You select it, go to component mode, right click on it, go to component mode and choose vertex component mode. Now you can see the vertex here, 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 all everywhere you are seeing the vertex, and the vertex is right on the edge. It's not away from the line. This edge line is here and the vertex is not away from this edge line. But you in the nerves, I will show you. Go to component mode, right click on it, go to component, it will show up as control vertex, that is CV. You see the vertices are away from the line. Here the vertex is right on the line, here it is away from the line. This is the difference between the nerves and polygon. That is, this is the major apparent difference between the nerves and polygon. This makes a big change in our decision whether to create an object using nerves or polygon. Which type of geometry I should choose, I should decide to create any shape out of it. So generally modelers, Maya modelers, 3D modelers, they prefer to go for polygons. That is this one. Why? Because if you want to make some shape like this, it's very easy because the vertex is right on the line. But here if I move it little away from the line, see how it is behaving. If there are more vertices here, you will get confused whether I have to move this vertex to make some particular shape or this vertex. So there for that sake we won't go for nerves model. Generally we will choose only to go for polygon model. But when it comes to curve, we have to depend on the nerves object only. So we will use this curve only. There are no curves in polygon, it's only edges. When it comes to polygon, we call the segment edge. When it comes to nerves, we call it the segment curve. Okay, so these are the elements which are there, and you can see the same shapes here, like what is there in the nerves primitives, like sphere, cube, cylinder. All these things are there in the polygon primitives also, and some extra types of geometries also there. Pyramid shape is also there. If I press F in the keyboard, whatever is selected will show up in the viewport in the middle, right in the middle. And now I'm going to press F in the keyboard. See what is happening? It will show up in the middle of the viewport. Now I'm pressing, holding the Alt button in the keyboard and using the left mouse button and orbiting the camera, that is turning the camera and seeing the shape from bottom, from top, from side, from everywhere you can see using these shortcuts. So I think now you have got a basic understanding of what this Maya can do, and we have in the next video we will be seeing camera, light, shader, texture, and even rendering will be seen. So okay guys, today that's it for today. You can visit my website 3danimationyagna.com to know more about my online classes and videos. Please subscribe my channel to see more videos on Maya software. Thanks for being with me. Cheers.